Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. You want to see more? Hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Motorsport Manager. It's episode 14, and we've actually moved forward a bit. Quite a bit. I got tired of being 2 seconds off the pace, off the pace, off the pace, off the pace, off the pace. Just decided let's get to the end of the season, see what happens, see what the results are, so we can move on to our either next season or move on to taking over Manor Racing. Essentially, we're just gonna pull Lawrence Stroll, right? We'll just buy the team. Can't win with your own, so just buy a team further up the grid. So. In the last two races, Vettel won the first with Bottas second. Hamilton was involved in a collision lap 3 or 4 that put him down the order, and he never fully recovered. It only ended up in, I think it was 4th or 5th place. In this last race, Vettel again took the checkered flag, but in scrutineering, was found to have cheated, picked up 2 bonus points for fastest lap, but otherwise was last. Sadly, though, Haley Deegan and that low-risk front wing that we put on, well, she got busted too. And so, we lost that front wing. We took a $250,000 fine, went to the back of the order, which when you're already at the back, I guess, isn't that big of a deal. You can see, we're still at the back everywhere. And I had no new parts. We just made some improvements. And now we just lost that front wing. And in fact, just moments before we're ready to start the race, the replacement wing of the exact same low-risk quality is done. You can see it's 114 points away from being maxed out. So it's not going on a car. And that means we're taking a big loss here at the front wing in terms of capability and prospects for next season, if we are hopefully able to stay and not be relegated. I'd love for this playthrough to go through. I'd love to take a team that started 4 or 5 seconds a lap down to everybody else to the last race. Overall, for the entirety of the race, it was 2.4 seconds. For almost half the race, where you're able to push, a little bit harder, stay on the lead lap, and not deal with that kind of stuff, we were just over a second a lap off pace for quite a while until we had to back off on the fuel burn and everything else to get through and make it to the end of the race. But we're getting closer. We're just still well off, but another whole season and maybe we'll make contact, but will I get that season? Well, that's why we move forward and we head to Doha for the final race of the season. Now, with everything that's gone on, the emphasis is going to be less on the race itself and more on what happens after, because we already know what's going to happen in the race. We'll take a look at the points as we go through and see if there's anything left of that battle. We could take the risk again, but with Krone this time. Yeah, this will sadly get us to be even slower. And actually, in that case, I'm going to take the ultimate sacrifice here. I'm not even going to bother with practice. I'm going to auto sim, and that's not a good thing because we're not going to end up with a good setup. But we're still off the back of the grid, and I can't wait anymore. I can't. The anticipation is killing me on that part, and I don't know, maybe I will. Dang it. I want to. I want to sacrifice the setup by simulating practice. I really do. But I have this never quit attitude, and if we're gonna quit this series, I have to at least see it through, right? And retry with manner. Oh gosh, how many laps are we in for? And 22 is not bad. 20, and that's a much faster tire. I think we're gonna go for the ultras. Go for the two-stopper. Looks like speed balance is gonna have to shift in a little. Both drivers. Usually they're pretty interchangeable on that. Okay, I'll take practice. It's the blue button. The blue button made me do it. But we'll do it fast. Ooh, we're on a shortened version of the track here. This whole wing is out. Okay, very, very poor. Downforce. Need a lot more. $75, that's not even enough. There you go. Give that a shot. Trying to get through here as quickly as possible, even if I end up making myself a mistake or two. Okay, we're getting there. 91%. Ooh, tricky. Can't quite get them lined up, can I? $93. That doesn't reach. Around we go. Where we stop? Well, duh, isn't it obvious? Everybody knows. $97. And the handling needs to come back a little bit. That's alright. Oh, that's too much. A little air pressure. There we go. Okay, very, very close. 98. Problem is I can only do 1/10 there, and the rear wing's gonna affect everything else a little bit more. Okay. That should do it. Away we go. Vroom vroom. Setup taken care of. Speed towards the end. We're just about to hit level 1. So it's going to be a little bit. Maybe with the ultras we could find a little more pace today. Still 8 seconds off the pace of Vettel. Not looking too good on that front. About to hit level 2. Tire heating's good. Right about holding true. Yeah, fuel burn's good as we're saving fuel as we go through, so it's all positives. That's another positive if we don't get relegated, if we're able to continue on. The chassis was garbage. We're going to get reward money. We're going to get, here you go, level 3. There's not enough time to switch over to qualifying, so we'll just stay out there. And maybe we just attack. See what it's like. What kind of pace can you guys put in? Low fuel? Lower fuel anyway. But burnt up tires. Krone's going faster. Deegan went a little faster there. Yeah, I got it. Final minute. Ooh, Krone, a full lap pushing. Actually went faster than Deegan. Deegan, of course, the tires are all burnt up already, so Deegan slowed down there at the end. Anyway, we'll have money coming in for the new season if we're not relegated. From that, we'll be able to... Oh, come on. Okay, 98's good. You went backwards. So we'll use the 98 from before. So with that money, for one thing, we've already improved a bunch of stuff in the headquarters, and there's more coming. And it's going to allow a deeper level of upgrade to parts next season than this, so that's a step in the right direction. We'll have money to get a much better chassis than what we were working from this year. That'll have an impact. We're going to take the already improved parts as our base heading into next season, so we've already cut the gap at the back end of the field better than in half. I mean, we've cut it down by nearly 2/3 now. I think we cut it down by about 60% overall. So we're 60% closer than we were. So if we're 60% closer than we were after one season, that's to the back end of the field, not to the front. And we have the potential for a more rapid improvement next season. The improved chassis and whatnot. I think before the end of next season anyway, we can make contact with the back of the field. But that it depends entirely on what's going to happen here in a few days' time. Whether the game standard of relegation is still a thing, or whether we're going to be able to retain a spot in Formula One. So is this the last episode of the series, with episode 1 starting with Manor Racing coming next, or will we be able to continue on episode 15 with our second season and the little team that couldn't trying to become the little team that could. Somebody's on pole. I didn't even notice. We'll see who it is in a moment. You probably saw it. It's Hamilton. Hamilton, all 3 qualifying sessions, goes top of the time charts. We're going to push into the race, and like I said, we are going to go pretty dang quickly through this one, as I am far more interested in what's going to happen after race day in this coming week than what's going to happen now. And the only reason why I felt I needed to do practice is I just couldn't stand to see them do worse than they're already going to do. We've been making improvement. We've got to see it. But I don't have to play slowly to see it. So here we go. 5 red lights. And they go out. We go racing. Crone gets an amazing start. But she does get checked up in 3-4 wide there for a moment. And her progress is stopped at 18th. Deegan right there in it, but there was just too much traffic and she didn't quite get the start that Crone got. So at the moment it's all stacked up, but here we are down the order, and here we go. Crone down to 23rd now. Deegan just behind her. Gap relatively small between the two. At the front, it's Hamilton, 5 seconds clear of Vettel. So Vettel has moved up, and oh, my bad. Happened faster than I expected it to. Only 4 laps. We can run on neutral for these. Stroll with penalty is down to last place. Deegan is still behind Crone. Tire rating wise, we're already just about into the happy zone. Deegan drops to last. Stroll has a problem, so even though Stroll pit because of a penalty. Safety car leaving the track without us getting lapped. Thank you. And we are on ultras, so we are going to pit. 65 lap race. This is, and we can get about 20 per. So this is now going to get us to where a 2-stopper from here is going to be enough to get to the end of this race. Slow down. You're going to pit as well. We are going to double stack this one. It's under the safety car, so it is a free pit stop. Deegan already in. Oh no, Crone didn't make it. There was a mistake on that as well. That's stupid. But we do roll out ahead of the safety car, so we are not lapped right now. Here we go. Crone is in. No mistake this time. And she stays ahead of Deegan. So I think the mistake ended up being the difference on that one. Well, that and it being under safety car. Alright, so we're going to make our way forward. And what am I doing? Safety car heading to the garage, but it's still got to get around this lap. We're nearly caught up. It's Perez who is out of the race, by the way. And we still haven't quite made up the ground. And there we go. All the way back in contact. 10 laps into the race. We're on the lead lap. We're right behind Lance Stroll. This is pretty amazing. Now, safety car pulling away. We need to step this up here in just a little bit. At least to medium anyway. We don't have really the fuel to attack right now. Oh, of course, Ferrari used team orders to let Vettel get around Leclerc. Speaking of, this is a good time to take a look at the constructors first. Mercedes, right now, well clear of Ferrari, 45 points possible with the 1-2, and they've got it. And I think even if you flip that the other way, right, you take away the plus 30 they've got, that's still plus 50 something. So Mercedes has wrapped up the constructors, but they do not have the Drivers' Championship. It is Sebastian Vettel. Vettel is 30 points, or at least live points, clear. He's 38 otherwise, which means it's all wrapped up already today. So Vettel is your champion. Right now the contest is between Bottas and Hamilton. Hamilton leading and having fastest lap closes the gap to 5, but would still lose to Bottas, with Bottas in second. Bottas is going to have to drop at least a couple positions and Hamilton win the race in order for Hamilton to move up to P2. Now, Hamilton's been the much better driver all season long than Bottas, but Hamilton's had like 3 times where he's gone first to last on some sort of faulty part that the team put on the car over and over again, and it's never happened to Bottas. Verstappen is in P4. Gasly, a very, very distant P5, so it's pretty tight at the top 4 drivers, and then it drops a lot from there. Right now, Gasly over Leclerc due to race performance. Otherwise, essentially, whoever's going to finish ahead in the Gasly-Leclerc matchup, I think they're... Gasly's +3 over Leclerc. So Leclerc, if he finishes a couple positions ahead of Gasly, depending on where they're at in the order, Leclerc would move up to P5. Ricardo, Hulkenberg, 7 and 8. But out on track, we are still just 1 second behind. 1 second behind is all we are after 15 laps. And this is a good 4 laps after running. And Stroll has pit now to fix whatever that problem was, putting him behind us. And it's not 1 second, it's 11. I don't know where I got that from. Maybe that was because it was to Stroll. 1 second to Stroll. Very well could have been. So Stroll was struggling, probably with a broken wing. Stayed out longer than he should have. He should have pit while we were under caution, and he did not. Let's speed things up. Lap 16, Hamilton still leading. Bottas 7 seconds down. Sainz in third, 15 seconds behind. Used the free stop. Bottas used the free stop. Yeah, really surprised that a lot of drivers did not, but that's going to put us in a pretty good position. Let's get you back up to neutral. Let's get you to neutral there as well, and do the same here. By the way, Krohn still leads over Deegan. It's weird that once Deegan gets behind Krohn, she almost always struggles, even when she has good form. But then the moment she gets ahead of Krohn, she just starts pulling away, and she'll finish 30, 40 seconds ahead of her. Stroll working his way up. He's gone around Deegan. He'll be coming up on Krohn here pretty soon, as we're on lap number 21 now. And there he is. This is for position. Not getting around easy. There he goes, though. Took him about a full lap to make the pass. That's encouraging. It is definitely encouraging. And here comes race leader Lewis Hamilton, but he pits, and Bottas is going to inherit that lead. So we're back down to 22nd, 23rd. Now we are at that point where we are now lapped. Both Mercedes are ahead of us. So on that part, our day is done. We have now gone 20 laps, but of course, a couple of those were under safety car condition. "36 laps to go. So we need to go 18. And still, I'm going to squeeze out one more lap here for Deegan. Uh-oh. Problem on the front right. Are you kidding me? What? That's 2 mistakes for Deegan today by the pit crew, where they had like a 6% chance of failure. And that's 2 fails already. Meanwhile, I get distracted by that, so now Crone, a bit late to her stop. Now it's up to a 10% chance. And she's losing a lot of time here. That was 2 extra laps, or 1 extra lap that she shouldn't have taken. That does put her behind Deegan. Sorry, Crone. Just trying to get through this race here. Hamilton, 8 seconds clear of Bottas. 37 ahead of Sainz. Verstappen, Gasly, Vettel all the way down in P6. Leclerc, P7. So the Ferrari's not running well today. Norris is P8. Kvyat up in the points in 9th. Raikkonen in 10th. Meanwhile, cars in front of me are pitting. I've got an 80-second gap to Van Dorn, and Van Dorn will pit relatively soon, but I will have to do one more pit stop before the end of this race. Depending on what tires Van Dorn puts on, it could drop him back some. Kubica has not pit yet. Massa has not pit yet. Verne pitting for the first time now and goes to the back end. We're 83 seconds behind him. That's right about 2 seconds a lap off pace, but that's my 2 stops to his 1 stop. So it's not too bad. Kubica crashed. Kubica has crashed out. That'll give us our 2nd promotion spot of the race, up to 21st now. No safety car. Would have been a really good time for a safety car because the pit stop could have gotten us to the end of the race. Closer way to getting lapped again. See 7th, I see 4th. There's 1st and 2nd. Almost half a lap off. So we're gonna have to start saving some fuel here. We could pit here quite soon for Deegan. Just dropped under 30%. One more lap. Uh-oh. Problem with the front wing. You know what? We're close enough. Let's do it now. Come on, no mistake this time, please. We started the race with a 7 or 8% chance of mistake. It's gone up due to the effects of the mistake, but 2 mistakes in 1 race, that is crazy. Deegan back out, actually still in 21st, surprisingly. Open up that much of a gap between them. Giovinazzi has crashed, and here comes the safety car, so free pit stop for Crone. That would be a no. Pause, 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 pause. Low, good. Low, pit, ultra, fix the wing. Nice. That brings us up another spot. Vettel takes the free pit stop. Hamilton does not, and Hamilton's going to have to pit again, so good job, Mercedes. Good job. I mean, not good job. Bottas also probably will pit again. I think Gasly might be good to go, but not a smart move there at all. We're just in front of the Mercedes, so that's going to bring us around and get us back in place. We're still a lap down to the cars in front of us, but .12 laps to go. Safety car already set to come in this lap, and we are well back, so we might not actually get caught up all the way this time. In fact, only a handful of cars have even bunched up at this point. Now, roughly half the field has gotten back on, but safety car is already starting to pull away, leaving Hamilton to it. Hamilton did pit. There you go. Hamilton did pit. He will be good to go to the end. Bottas, probably not. So Mercedes salvaged their race, but looks like they might have screwed over just one of their drivers. And for a change, not Hamilton. And you can see that first half of the field, just over half, got bunched up. The whole back end, we're all still scattered, third of a lap behind. Ten laps to go in the season. Nothing but pride to race for, and Massa has crashed. There's one more position for us. That'll move us up to 19th. Now our last hope of, if the relegation exists, is to have such a position to move us up well beyond whatever our reach is right now. I mean, we'd have to get up to about 14th, maybe 15th. So it would take another 4 or 5 cars out, and it would take like both Manners to be out. Because Williams actually have a point. Russell scored a point last time. How are we doing here? Back off a little, if you would, please. Back off a little. Back off, please, please, please. Thank you. So we did finally get shuffled to the back, which that's not bad. All things considered, that it took that long for those guys to shuffle us back again. Again, getting closer. Van Dorn, please pit. Van Dorn, please pit. You could absolutely cut this gap down. Right now it's at 130 seconds, so 2 seconds a lap. But if Van Dorn just pit. Okay, now it's down to 100. No. Okay. It's down to 128 seconds. Did he pit or not? Or was I was seeing it after he was already in the pits. It must have been. So 130 seconds, that's 2 seconds a lap. Hamilton takes the win. Vettel takes second, so he recovers nicely. Verstappen takes third. Bottas does end up having to pit again, so there's that stupid mistake by Mercedes. Leclerc stays out, takes P5. Gasly and Sainz round out the top end of the order. That's the season coming to a close. That's the final checkered flag. But what is going to be the verdict? Are we relegated or not? Scrutineering. No risk this time. I never use it. I finally use a part and I get caught. Max Verstappen. Busted. Down to last place. But finishing in 18th was not enough to boost us up. We end up 2 laps down of Van Doren. Field otherwise relatively close, relatively bunched up compared to normal. Final tally, Vettel 290 points. Bottas stays second. Hamilton 6 points behind Verstappen. Ends up a fairly distant 4th with the loss of points in that race. Otherwise would have been close. Gasly very distant 5th. And somehow Charles Leclerc a point behind Pierre Gasly. Are you kidding me, mod makers? You think Leclerc and Gasly are on the same level? In a Ferrari car that's much better than the Red Bull? Right. Ricardo, though, very good performance by him. You can see George Russell gets the final points paying position of the season in the penultimate race. He gets 16th place overall with that. That automatically secures Williams' future. Alpha, Giovinazzi didn't score, but Raikkonen did score 22. So you have Alpine, Manor, and us that scored no points. But in that countback, we're last. So if there's relegation, nothing we can do about it. It's us. I just hope that the mod makers found a way to turn it off and not have it changed. I doubt it, though. I do. Yes. Disappointing race. I know. Every stinking week. Okay, we finished the season with 18 million. That's a good chunk of change heading into next season. And we'll bring in quite a bit of money. Final round in F2. Lauderer takes the win. He also takes the championship over Nico Rosberg. Rosberg barely scored towards the end of the season. I only saw him on one podium in the last 4 or 5 races. But he had a lot of points early on. Audi win the championship. There is the mark there of promotion. And down in F3, Will Power wins the final race and wins the championship over teammate Joseph Newgarden. Comfortably, they doubled up on March. All right, season drawing to a close, but we've got a few days to progress to see what the verdict is. Where do we go from here? Worry about the pit crew later. They're the same, really, and it doesn't matter. They both have the morale where it needs to be. Two empty spots. Just go for a couple young drivers, and there we go. I'll worry about that later. Okay. Here we go. Prize money. $38 million. Got a good balance for next season. If we are not relegated. McLaren take manager of the season. Vettel takes driver of the season. Nope. There it is. Relegated. Nothing changed for F2. Not that it matters. So Audi goes up, we go down. Penske goes up, Peugeot goes down, and that's that. So much improvement over the course of the season, all for naught, as they relegate us to F2. Dang it. I was hoping. I was hoping it was not to be, but it was. So, I'm going to come back with, in episode 1, as we're going to take over Manor Racing, restarting this series. So we will play as Manor Racing next time, and then hopefully it's not going to mess everything up image-wise for the drivers without that custom team. I really think it did shift the teams down the order by inserting the custom team. We had replaced Haas, essentially, and so it swapped everything out and messed that all up. So hopefully by taking Manor, that part will be fixed, at least. And while I don't necessarily want to play as Manor Marussia, well, it is what it is. The custom team starting in F1 is just not a possible thing when they start you 6 seconds off the pace compared to everybody else. We finished 2 seconds off the pace compared to everybody else, but, that's still a significant gap. I mean, we improved by 4 seconds a lap over the course of the season, and that's massive. But when you're still 2 seconds off the slowest car, what are you to do? So that's going to do it for this episode. Technically, that's going to do it for this series, but we'll be back. Fire Fantasy Mod with Manor. So look next week for episode number 1, coming back for that. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll check you out next time. Bye for now.